Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Critical Weight Theory. This time, we're going to address the question: can Hancock thrive without Finlandia University? And that's Hancock, Michigan, where Finlandia University used to exist. Now, technically, it doesn't, except for buildings that used to belong to its campus. So, this topic was suggested by one of my listeners, Adam, who is also somebody that I've known for quite a few years, like going back to even my grade school days. And, Adam has actually been a guest on this podcast. So, that was quite a while ago. Maybe I'll have him as a guest again at some point. And, I used to, I dated his sister for about 3 years, and he also kind of got me started into writing professionally because he put out a general call out on Facebook for writers for the website Undead Walking, and I was like, sure, why not? I'll see if I can write for them, and that basically worked out in a way. And I've expanded my career a little bit, and I've done interviews with various celebrities and movies and TV and you know that kind of stuff. But the point is, I know Adam. He helped me out as far as my career goes and all that kind of stuff. So it was good to get this question from him, and I'll probably have him back on as a guest at some point. But anyway, the centers around the closure of Finlandia University in Hancock, Michigan. As some of you may know, the university, which has been a cornerstone of this small Upper Peninsula town since 1896, closed its doors after the spring semester of 2023. With the institution gone, what does the future hold for Hancock, Michigan? And is it possible for the community to thrive without such an integral piece of its identity? Now, for purposes of full disclosure, I am a graduate from Finlandia University, and that might, shape my perspective on it a little bit here and there. But I had experiences both good and bad at the place, so I don't think it really would make me too biased one way or the other. Because sure, I might praise this aspect of or that, but I also had some negative experiences there. So you know. And today we'll be looking at the impact of Finlandia's closure, the economic and cultural challenges that it brings, and most importantly, the potential opportunities for the town to not only survive but to flourish. So, this is basically segment one. I'm going to be talking about economic challenges post closure. So, for that segment, let's start by looking at the economic repercussions. Finlandia University was a major employer in Hancock, with its students, staff, and faculty contributing to the local economy. It was probably the biggest economic uh, creator in the area. The biggest draw other than tourism. So when the university closed, many students and faculty either transferred to other institutions, or maybe they found work elsewhere in some other professions, as life sometimes does. TV6 News, our local news uh, broadcaster, they reported that most of the campus buildings have been sold off and are now privately owned. This transition, it hits local businesses hard, especially those that relied on student traffic, whether it's restaurants, rental properties, and shops in particular. Without the regular influx of students, there is less vibrancy in town, and local tourism, especially for events like sports competitions or cultural gatherings that were university driven, has taken a hit. This loss of energy and economic activity, is a challenge that Hancock has to reckon with. But is it all doom and gloom for Hancock? That's the other question. So I'm going to explore how the community is already working together to adapt to an extent, to a limited extent, admittedly, or admittedly. Did I say admittedly? Maybe that is a word, but I don't think it's the right word here. But anyway, moving on to segment two, I have notes about opportunities for growth. So, how about that? Despite the hurdles, Hancock has some promising avenues for growth, at least potentially. One major opportunity lies in the town's natural surroundings. Hancock is blessed with access to Lake Superior, ski resorts, and some beautiful hiking trails, and I actually live sort of near a nice little nature trail. I don't know exactly how much of a tourist draw it would be because a lot of areas, not only not only in Michigan, but in the United States and throughout the world, have hiking trails. So I'm not, I'm not sure if that would be a major selling point, but we've got them anyway. So I suppose you might want to promote the hell out of those. They can promote ecotourism and outdoor activities like kayaking, biking, and snowmobiling. So if they do that, the town could attract a new type of visitor potentially. We already do have tourists here to some degree, but maybe they could try to build up on that. And outdoor tourism is growing across the US, and as President Theodore Roosevelt once said, the nation behaves well if it treats its natural resources as assets for future generations. So that definitely would seem to apply here. Investing in outdoor activities can not only bring more visitors, but also create jobs and promote sustainable economic growth. Woohoo! So, according to the International Ecotourism Society, ecotourism is, quote, responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment and sustains the well being of local people, end quote. So, that sounds nice, right? Hancock's scenic beauty could help establish it as a hotspot for eco-conscious travelers. Wow. And I think we have those here already to some degree, but again, it's something that could be perhaps expanded upon. There's also potential for attracting remote workers. Now, this one sounds like a bit more of a long shot, but I suppose if they promoted it in a certain way, it could maybe pan out. So, as more people adopt flexible work models post pandemic, Hancock's affordable cost of living and stunning environment might appeal to digital nomads. But for that to work, the town would need to invest in broadband infrastructure and perhaps create co working spaces. Now, I personally barely know what a co working space is, so I'm not the best to explain that. But it's said that, if they have those, they might create a desirable lifestyle for remote workers. And technically, I'm a remote worker as far as my writing career goes. I don't necessarily have to be writing from any one place. I could, freelance from just about anywhere in the world, theoretically, anyway. But anyway, it said that Hancock can diversify its economy beyond just, tourism for like snowmobilers if they were to appeal to these so-called digital nomads. Now, I think, maybe there's something to that. I think maybe that should be explored as an option. And moving on to segment three, this is about cultural resilience. So even without Finlandia University, Hancock retains a strong Finnish heritage, which has long shaped its cultural identity. Finlandia's archives and historical assets could be preserved by local organizations and continue to serve as cultural touchstones for the community. In fact, the Finlandia Foundation National, or the, wait, let me say that again. The Finlandia Foundation National has acquired several key Finlandia properties, including the Finnish American Heritage Center, where I actually had a few art shows. Um, I did a few of those when I was a Finlandia student. And there's the Finlandia Art Gallery and the Historical Archive. So yeah, I'm a bit biased as far as this goes. Uh, I did appreciate the Finnish American Heritage Center, even though admittedly I don't go there nearly as often as I could. But then again, I don't go hardly anywhere as often as I could. Aside from a physical workplace or whatever, like some place like that, a restaurant. But I should be getting out there more myself, and maybe, I guess, supporting such uh, places. But anyway, these acquisitions allow the town to continue hosting festivals, exhibitions, and other events celebrating Finnish American traditions. Anne Marie Pastor, president of the Finlandia Foundation, said this is, quote, a positive outcome for what could have been, or, or wait, hold on, a positive outcome for what could have been an unacceptable fate. There we go. I said it correct now. I was going on the wrong path with that quote. But anyway, that's a that's a good thing that these parts of Finlandia are being preserved in some fashion. So, by keeping these places alive, Hancock can maintain its identity while also finding new ways to appeal to both locals and visitors. The Finnish American culture will continue to thrive as a source of pride and as a potential tourist attraction. So, that there are ways to tap into that. If you have people who are curious about the history of Finnish Americans in the United States, this is a potential epicenter for information on that, potentially, of course. And some of that might sound corny, but here's the thing: like, I have I have some relatives who were involved in uh, a mine, like preserving the history of a local mine in the town of Painesdale, Michigan, which is where my grandma lived. And I can say that, like, if you're just looking into history as sort of an abstract thing, it can be boring. But it was quite a different thing when I was, looking at the paycheck stub of one of my great uncles, or maybe it was a great grandfather. But I was looking at his paycheck stubs, and this was somebody named Axel Wynio, who had apparently died in a mining accident involving. Well, he was electrocuted. I don't exactly know how he died, but he was electrocuted somehow. And I looked at his paycheck stubs. That sort of thing. It makes the experience of history more real. You're not just looking at a name on a. Well, I guess you kind of are looking at a name on a piece of paper if you're looking at a paycheck stub, but you're getting the sense that these people were real. They actually existed. They have lives or had lives and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely something to preserving these stories and these memories, and you can build a larger historical narrative, about them. So, like my example of either my great uncle or my great grandfather, or maybe is a great great uncle. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, the ability to actually look into these people's lives in the past, it's a potential source of inspiration, even, or you could at least get some tourist dollars here and there. And so I'm going to move on to segment 4 now, because I kind of got sidetracked there a little bit. But anyway, this is about collaboration and community spirit. So, one of the strongest aspects of Hancock is its sense of community. Mary Babcock, the Hancock city manager, noted in March 2024 that the closure of Finlandia has actually brought the town together in unexpected ways. The spirit of collaboration, it is going to be essential going forward. And, hopefully people can actually make some relevant changes to how this town is going about business, the process. So, working with nearby institutions like Michigan Technological University or MTU in Houghton, which is sort of the neighboring city. These are almost like twin cities between Houghton and Hancock. But anyway, working with MTU could provide a boost to the local economy. Michigan Tech may attract some of Finlandia's former students or staff. I've been told that they already have. And, it could help create synergy between the two towns. Maybe Hancock could even explore partnerships with Michigan Tech for expanded programming or shared community spaces. And again, it's possible that they've already done that, but maybe they could do more of that. So, community driven initiatives like co op businesses, art programs, or shared spaces for local startups could also play a role in Hancock's recovery. These ventures could help revitalize the social and economic fabric of the town while offering flexible career paths for residents. And I think we need those. There definitely is not enough diversity of types of jobs in the area. So here's sort of my other idea, which could sound like a long shot, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I think I think Hancock and really the Upper Peninsula in general could be a place where people could go ahead and shoot, film and movies. I don't know why we haven't tapped into that a little bit more over the years. I think that could be done in a relatively environmentally safe manner. There's a lot of places around here where people could shoot wilderness scenes. There's no reason that couldn't be done. And maybe we should get cracking on that. I think there's unexplored potential there. There are lots of outdoor scenes in movies and TV shows. I don't know why more of those aren't being shot in this area where I happen to live. So, you know, in conclusion, a path forward for Hancock in the end, while the closure of Finlandia represents a significant challenge for Hancock, I don't think it's an insurmountable one. The town has opportunities to thrive by diversifying its economy, promoting ecotourism, attracting remote workers, preserving its cultural heritage. And of course, it doesn't just have to be Finnish Americans that they pay attention to. There could be a focus on other groups as other identity groups as well. But with innovation, community effort, and collaboration, Hancock has the potential to come out stronger on the other side of this transition, as one might call it. So the future may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: Hancock's story is far from over. It's like a lot of places. It does have a long history. I don't think it's going to become a ghost town exactly. It's something that could potentially make a rebound. It's but one of those things, I guess. So thanks for tuning into today's episode of Critical Weight Theory. If you enjoyed the topic, don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast with your buddies. What are your thoughts on Hancock's future? Could this small town reinvent itself after losing such a key institution? Let me know in the comments or on social media. Until next time, have a good day. And I'll wrap it up right there.